The only thing I worry about is that some total unknown that nobody ever heard of comes along.
I am now joined by Andrew Yang, a Democratic candidate for president.
Thank you, Iowa. It's fantastic to be here.
People think we're crazy. I will say that.
Hello, Detroit.
The main problem we're trying to solve is how do you get a no-name young Asian man with no political experience, with no money, how do you get that person elected president of the United States?
I'm running for president.
Oh, running for president? How you doing, sir?
Yeah.
What is president for Charleston?
President of the United States of America.
Oh,
Well, you're the one running. God, I am really slow.
If you've heard anything about me and my campaign, you've heard that someone is running for president who wants to give every American $1,000 a month. Now that seems far out. That seems too good to be true. You think that will never happen. But this is a deeply American idea. Thomas Paine was for it at the founding of the country. And then Martin Luther King was for it.
Now, one of the answers, it seems to me, is a guaranteed annual income, a guaranteed minimum income for all people and for all families of our country.
Milton Friedman, the godfather of conservative economists, was for it.
Is a proposal to help poor people by giving them money, which is what they need, rather than as now, by requiring them to come before a governmental official, detail all their assets and their liabilities, and be told that you may spend X dollars on rent, Y dollars on food, etc., and then be given a handout.
Where's this money coming from?
My plan is to get the resources from the big winners of the 21st century economy. Amazon right now is closing 30% of America's stores and malls and paying zero in taxes. So what we do is we set up a mechanism where the American people get our fair share of every Amazon sale, every Google search, every robot truck mile. We can generate hundreds of billions of dollars and then put it into our hands because we know best how to use it. We automated away 4 million manufacturing jobs. Now what happened to the manufacturing workers is now going to happen to the truck drivers, retail workers, call centers, fast food workers, and on through the economy as we evolve and technology marginalizes the labor of more and more Americans.
If we replace a dangerous job with a machine, that's a good thing. That doesn't mean you simply displace the worker and throw him or her out on the street. And that raises the question of basic income for everybody.
There will be fewer and fewer jobs that a robot cannot do better. This is going to be a massive social challenge. I think ultimately we will have to have some kind of universal basic income. I don't think we're going to have a choice.
I mean, this is in industry after industry after industry, and the more you read up on this, the more you realize that a lot of us who might think, oh, well, my job couldn't be replaced by automation, don't kid yourself.
We all know that right now most Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. 57% of Americans can't afford an unexpected $500 bill. So you put $1,000 a month into their hands, it's going to go right back into the economy. They're going to spend it on food, childcare, car repairs they've been putting off, the occasional night out. And then all of those businesses end up hiring more people, and then we end up getting some of the money back.
In recent years, evidence has shown that giving people cash as a way to address poverty actually works. In study after study, people don't stop working and they don't drink it away. They actually use it to increase their earnings.
When we put the money into our hands, we can build a trickle-up economy from our people, our families, and our communities up. This is the sort of positive vision in response to the fourth industrial revolution that we have to embrace as a party.
The biggest challenge to workers in countries like mine today is technology. We're going to have to consider new ways of thinking about these problems, like a universal income, how we retrain our young people. But we're going to have to worry about economics if we want to get democracy back on track.
I'm not running for president because I've fantasized about being president. I'm running for president because, like many of you here in this room tonight, I'm a parent and a patriot, and I have seen the future that we're leaving for our kids, and it is not something I'm willing to accept. So I came to this town, Washington, D.C., and I said, what are we going to do? He said to me, this official said to me, Andrew, you're in the wrong town. No one in this town is going to do anything about the problems that you described because this town is a town of followers, not leaders. And the only way for us to do something about it is if you bring a wave crashing down on our heads. I looked at that and I thought, challenge accepted. Andrew Yang has a tremendous center of gravity. He's getting ignored for some weird reason, and there's lots of Democrats who are like, no, we like this guy. That's right, and most people have still never heard of Andrew Yang. When they find out about me, oh my gosh.
Andrew Yang.
Andrew Yang.
With Andrew Yang.
Andrew Yang.
Andrew Yang.
He has some really interesting ideas, and he's so open-minded.
Yang's campaign picked up some serious steam.
If you told me 3 months ago that we would have an extended conversation in any debate here on planet Earth about universal basic income, and that Andrew Yang would be driving it, look, no one knew who this guy was at the start of the year.
Andrew Yang won the night, and if I owned any company in the world, I would try to hire him. I would have no idea what to do with him, but I know that he would make my company better.
He was named a presidential ambassador of entrepreneurship by the Obama administration and a champion of change.
No one has had nearly the impact that he has. I mean, he has fundamentally changed, shifted, opened up the conversation.
I agree with my friend Andrew Yang. I think universal basic income is a good idea.
You're polling higher than some governors, some congressmen, senators.
Ohio Congressman Tim Ryan has dropped out of the presidential race.
Senator Kirsten Gillibrand has just dropped out.
Julian Castro announced he's suspending his campaign.
Senator Kamala Harris announcing she's dropping out.
Senator Cory Booker is out.
New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio pulled the plug on his White House bid today.
An Asian American businessman with no political experience beat governors, senators, so many established politicians to make it to the Democratic debate stage, have a massive lasting impact. More than anything, change the Overton window forever.
His idea around universal basic income, was it like 3% or like no percent a year and a half ago? Now it's a 55%.
Has anyone's trajectory in this race been better from where they started, absolute zero, to where they are now than Andrew Yang?
COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
The spread of the coronavirus has pushed the pause button on one of the world's biggest economic powerhouses.
We're coming on the air at this hour with breaking news there. Wall Street ending one of the worst weeks of trading since the financial crisis in 2008.
We're starting to get to that point where those supply chains are going to have massive disruptions.
Coronavirus officially hitting the U.S.
Throw of a global pandemic.
A huge spike in cases in Italy.
Hundreds of cases in South Korea. New cases reported in Europe.
The CDC warned Americans to be prepared here at home, that it's not a matter of if, but when.
If you don't act with speed and scale, you're going to turn a deep recession into something, a long-lasting financial crisis that will look like the Great Depression.
We're opening up this incredible country because we have to do that. I'd love to have it open by Easter.
What do you say to Americans who are watching you right now who are scared?
I say that you're a terrible reporter. That's what I say.
What I'm proposing is an immediate emergency temporary universal basic payment that goes directly to every adult American in this country to help them in this dire situation.
My team is leading with other senators an effort to get pretty significant cash payments out to families, getting resources out there to all Americans to help weather this storm, no matter how bad it gets.
Do you have any Republicans on board?
Senator Mitt Romney proposing a $1,000 payment to every adult American.
Senators like Mitt Romney are recommending dramatic solutions like putting $1,000 in the hands of every American adult immediately, because that's exactly the right move. And that's going to help support demand and help millions of American families actually weather this crisis that could stretch on for months.
We're looking at sending checks to Americans immediately. Americans need cash now, and the president wants to get cash now.
You know who looks really smart right now is Andrew Yang.
We need to provide a direct emergency $2,000 cash payment to every household in America every month for the duration of the crisis.
We've got to make sure that the money is not going to the treetops, that the money is going to the grassroots. That's critical for actually strengthening this economy.
You know, right now we have a safety net with gaping holes in it. We allow and we choose for people to be in poverty.
Now, just a big shout out to Andrew Yang for being a visionary on this sort of stuff.
Remember when you first started, you were talking about UBI? A lot of people called you crazy.
It's a convoluted cockamamie idea.
It's this move towards socialism.
It's all going to stink. You're going to lose your job. You're not going to have anything. So we're going to give you a big handout. I mean, I don't know that that's going to be inspiring to a lot of Americans.
Do you think Americans just needed to be pushed to the brink of death and economic collapse to realize that, hey, maybe giving people $1,000 isn't a bad idea?
Weren't we making fun of this, though, when Andrew Yang suggested something like it was socialism?
No, no.